someone else's, that's not a healthy emotional experience for me. And it's, it's not necessarily a bad thing that we have unhealthy emotional experiences. It's a bad thing that we're not aware of it. And we do want to kind of curb the bad emotional experiences because they take a lot of energy out of us, Like, it's just, by the end of the time you've been dealing with them, you're just exhausted. And that's not a really good reason to exhaust yourself, so, yeah. If you get to the point where you're in an emotional, unhealthy experience, basically, it's very important to switch over and try to make it a bit healthier. So that generally means, breathing deeply, taking a time out, or a break, to start holding ice, or just a lot of those distress tolerances and a lot of emotional, coping mechanisms, and then you can revisit the situation once you have finished having, your intense emotion. Because generally speaking, on impulse, people will say things that they don't mean, and that can be very hurtful, and sometimes irreparably damaging, especially over time and repeatedly. And it's just, we lose sight of what's important because we're just so emotional in that moment. And that's problematic. And it's exhausting, and it hurts those around us. But basically, the key, I think, is recognizing what your personal distinction is between an unhealthy and a healthy emotional experience, and being aware that you might be getting close to that point where, I call it a point of no return, but where you don't think that you'd be able to control yourself, or control your behavior on the basis of emotion, like that's coming from that emotion, and at that point, stopping, taking a look, and switching over back to a healthy emotional experience. If you feel no emotion at all, that is also a problem. To be quite honest, I have felt most suicidal, in the past. I have felt most suicidal when I don't feel anything, because it's very frightening, and it's very, very hard to believe that you're alive, and it's very, very hard to fathom living without emotion. And yeah, sometimes when I'm really overwhelmed, I want to feel a little bit less, but feeling nothing is very, very hard too. I would go as far as to suggest impossible for long periods of time, just because we are meant to be emotional beings. And emotion is not a bad thing, but we just have to be careful about it. And always, always, always remember that as low as you can get, there's an opposite. So no matter how low you feel, you will find a way eventually in life, in recovery, to be as happy, to be as high as you are low now. What comes up, or what goes up must come down. Same deal. If you're down in the dumps, there's a way to be up, in the stars and enjoying life. It isn't one-sided. It isn't only bad emotion. There's good emotion too. And once, we do tend to have to be open to the bad emotion before we can experience the good emotion. But I promise you it's there. And it's something that's definitely worth pursuing. And it's something that's definitely worth, holding on to. Okay, I think I'm running over 10 minutes here. So, yeah, take care. Food for thought, or words for thought. And have a good week.